Welcome to this session on the European patenting process, from the initial filing of an application to the final grant of a European patent. In this video, I will guide you step by step through the main procedural stages before the European Patent Office, the EPO. We will also briefly look at what happens after grant, including validation, opposition, and maintenance requirements. Let's start with a high-level overview of the main steps in the European patent procedure. Everything begins with the filing of the application. Once the application is filed, the EPO carries out a search to identify relevant prior art. After that, at 18 months from the priority date, the application is published and becomes publicly accessible. Following publication, the applicant must actively request substantive examination. This is the stage where the EPO examines in depth whether the invention meets all patentability requirements. If the examiner concludes that everything is in order, the EPO issues a formal communication stating that it intends to grant the patent. Once the applicant completes the required steps, this leads to the grant of the European patent. After the patent is granted, several post-grant steps follow. First, the patent must be validated in the designated countries in order to take effect there. In addition, the granted patent may be opposed by third parties within a 9-month opposition period. Finally, maintenance fees must be paid regularly to keep the patent in force. Let us now take a closer look at the individual steps of the European patent procedure. The first step is the filing of the European patent application. This must be done in one of the EPO's official languages, German, English, or French. If the application is filed in another language, a translation into one of these official languages can still be submitted within a certain time period after filing. An application can be filed directly with the EPO, or it can enter the European regional phase after an earlier PCT application. If you would like to learn more about the international route, please have a look at the separate video on PCT filings. To be complete and valid, an application must include a description, at least one claim, drawings if they are needed to understand the invention, an abstract, and the required formalities, such as paying the filing fees and naming the inventor. The filing date is extremely important because it establishes the priority date. This priority date determines which prior art will be considered during the later examination of the application. After the application has been filed and the required fees have been paid, the EPO's search division begins its work. They carry out a search for relevant prior art. In other words, they look for earlier publications or technologies that are similar to the invention. The outcome is the European Search Report, which is accompanied by a written opinion on patentability. Together, these documents give an early indication of how strong the invention might be in terms of novelty and inventive step. The search report is usually issued about 6 to 9 months after filing. Once the applicant receives it, they may already decide to amend their claims before the actual examination procedure starts. 18 months after the priority date, the application is published automatically. From that point on, the invention becomes publicly accessible. It is essentially made visible to the entire world. If the applicant wishes to make the invention public earlier, the EPO also offers the option of requesting early publication. Examination does not start automatically. The applicant has to take an active step and file a request for examination and pay the respective fees. This request must usually be filed within 6 months after the publication of the search report. For applications coming from the PCT route, the deadline can be later, in some cases up to 31 months after the priority date. If the applicant misses this deadline, the application is considered withdrawn, meaning that the procedure comes to an end. Once the application enters substantive examination, the European Patent Office looks at the invention in detail. At this stage, the examiner assesses all core patentability requirements: novelty, inventive step, industrial applicability, and sufficiency of disclosure. And for those who want to deepen their understanding of novelty and inventive step, we have separate video lessons available. Let me briefly explain the key formal and substantive aspects examined. Sufficiency of disclosure. The application must describe the invention clearly and completely enough so that a person skilled in the art can carry it out. In simple terms, the patent must teach the skilled reader how to reproduce the invention without undue burden or guesswork. Clarity. The claims must be precise and unambiguous. The scope of protection should be understandable to both the examiner and third parties. Unity of invention. A patent application should relate to one invention only, or to a group of inventions that share a single general inventive concept. If several unrelated inventions are included, the examiner may require the applicant to split them into separate applications. Added matter. No new subject matter may be introduced during the procedure. Everything that is later claimed or amended must be clearly and unambiguously derivable from the original filing. Nothing can be added afterwards that wasn't originally disclosed. During this phase, the examiner and the applicant may exchange several communications. Responding usually involves amendments, clarifications, and legal or technical arguments before the application can proceed toward grant. If the examiner concludes that the application meets all the requirements, the EPO issues what is called a Rule 71(3) communication. This document contains the exact text that the EPO intends to grant as the European patent. At this point, it is very important that the applicant carefully checks this text, because once it is approved, it becomes the basis for the granted patent. To move forward, the applicant must do three things. First, formally approve the text. Second, pay the grant and publication fee. And third, file translations of the claims into the other two official EPO languages. Once these steps are completed on time, the patent can proceed to grant. Once the applicant has approved the text and completed all required steps, the EPO grants the patent and publishes the so-called B1 specification. From the date of grant, a 9-month opposition period begins. During this time, third parties, for example competitors, may challenge the patent if they believe it should not have been granted. After grant, the patentee must also take care of the post-grant formalities. This includes deciding whether to request a unitary patent, which provides uniform protection in the participating EU member states, or whether to proceed with national validations in individual countries. Once the patent is granted, the patentee must also take care of the post-grant formalities. This includes deciding whether to request a unitary patent, which provides uniform protection in many EU member states, or whether to proceed with the traditional route of national validations in individual countries. A separate video dedicated to the unitary patent system will follow, where we will look at this option in more detail. As mentioned, after grant, anyone may file an opposition to a European patent within 9 months from the grant date. An opposition can be based on several grounds, for example, lack of novelty, lack of inventive step, or an insufficient disclosure of the invention. Once an opposition has been filed, the opposition division examines the case and can reach one of three outcomes. It may maintain the patent as granted, it may maintain it in an amended form, or it may revoke the patent entirely. When a party disagrees with a decision, for example, a refusal of a patent application or the outcome of an opposition, they can file an appeal. The Board of Appeal then looks at the case again, both legally and technically, and can confirm, overturn, or modify the earlier decision. The Boards of Appeal are the EPO's independent judicial body. They are separate from the examining divisions and opposition divisions, and their role is to review decisions taken by these first instance departments. In simple terms, the Boards of Appeal function like a court within the EPO system. They ensure legal certainty, consistency, and fairness by providing an independent second look at contested decisions. Finally, we come to the maintenance phase. To keep a patent in force, renewal fees must be paid every year. These fees increase gradually over the lifetime of the patent. The older the patent becomes, the higher the annual fee. This is intended to encourage applicants to maintain only those patents that remain commercially valuable. For traditional European patents, renewal fees must be paid separately in each country where the patent has been validated. This means that year by year, the patentee has to decide in which countries the protection is still worthwhile. For unitary patents, by contrast, the system is much simpler. There is one single renewal fee, which keeps the patent in force in all participating member states at once. We will look at the unitary patent system in more detail in a separate video. Did you like what you learned? Find more in our playlist.